from a humble shed in Seattle to becoming the undisputed titan of the global skies. This is the epic, century-long story of a company that didn't just build airplanes, it built the modern world. The journey of Boeing is a saga of breathtaking innovation, colossal gambles, and a relentless drive to conquer the heavens. Our story begins not with a roar, but with a careful splash of a seaplane on Lake Union. The year was 1916. William Boeing, a wealthy timberman, and his friend, a U.S. Navy engineer named Conrad Westervelt, shared a fascination with the fragile flying machines of the day. In a small boathouse, they started a company, Pacific Aero Products, and built their very first aircraft, the B&WC. It was a primitive contraption of wood, wire, and linen, a far cry from the giants that would later bear its name. Boeing himself piloted its first flight, naming the plane Bluebill, in a single day. This fragile craft flew over 300 miles, a staggering feat that set a new record and proved that Boeing's vision had wings. But ambition was about to meet a brutal reality. When America entered the First World War, the nation's military was shockingly behind in the air. European powers boasted thousands of advanced military aircraft, while the United States could muster a pitiful force of just 23. The U.S. Navy, in a state of panic, turned to Boeing's small workshop. They placed an order for 50 Model C training planes, a contract that saved the fledgling company and established its reputation for quality. This was Boeing's first big success. However, when the war ended in 1918, the military market evaporated almost overnight. A glut of cheap surplus planes flooded the market, and most aircraft manufacturers went bankrupt. Boeing teetered on the brink of collapse. To survive, the company's skilled workforce was forced to build whatever they could sell: furniture, intricate bedroom sets, and even fast boats. They clung to the dream of flight by any means necessary, refusing to let their dream die. The breakthrough that would secure their future came from an unexpected place: the mail. Using the very last Model C they had built, William Boeing personally piloted a load of letters from Vancouver, Canada, to Seattle, USA. This daring flight marked the first international airmail delivery for the United States, a historic moment that signaled a crucial pivot. Boeing was no longer just a military supplier. It was now in the business of transport and connection. This was soon followed by the B-1C plane. Only one was ever built, but that single aircraft flew a staggering 350,000 miles, a testament to its durability and a powerful symbol that captured the public's imagination. A business could indeed be built in the sky, carrying not just post, but eventually, people. The 1920s saw Boeing firmly return to its military roots, crafting formidable fighters like the PW-9, which became the fastest plane the company had yet built. But the true revolution was unfolding for the everyday person. The Model 40, a mail plane designed for the U.S. Post Office, featured a tiny, cramped cabin that could squeeze into intrepid passengers. It inaugurated the genuine era of commercial air travel. Then came the larger Model 80, the first aircraft designed from the ground up specifically for people, carrying a dozen passengers in relative comfort. It was aboard this plane that a pioneering nurse named Ellen Church made history. She convinced a skeptical Boeing management to hire women as flight attendants, arguing they would calm the nervous passengers of the day. In 1930, she became the world's first flight attendant, breaking a barrier and opening the door for thousands of women to come. Just as the company seemed unstoppable, it faced a crushing blow from an unexpected adversary: the United States government. Boeing's sprawling, vertically integrated aviation empire was declared an illegal monopoly. The colossal enterprise was shattered into three separate pieces: the Boeing Airplane Company, United Airlines, and United Aircraft. Devastated and disheartened, William Boeing sold all of his stock and walked away from the empire he had built, never to own a single share of the company again. He would pass away in 1956, a man who had changed the world but felt disconnected from his own creation. Freed from its founder, the company that bore his name unleashed a torrent of innovation in the 1930s. The all-metal monorail redefined aerodynamic design, its sleek, stressed skin fuselage and retractable landing gears making fabric-covered biplanes obsolete overnight. This radical design philosophy quickly bred the YB-9 bomber, a terrifyingly fast warplane that could actually outrun the biplane fighters sent to intercept it. Then came the iconic P-26P Shooter, America's first all-metal production fighter, a nimble and potent beast that ruled the skies. And then, mysteriously, Boeing stepped away from building fighters for decades, a strategic retreat that baffled many. Their focus had shifted to a machine that would become a legend of luxury and range: the majestic 314 Clipper. This wasn't merely an airplane, it was a flying ocean liner. With plush sleeping berths for 40, a formal dining salon, and a range that could cross entire oceans, it made global travel a reality for the wealthy and powerful. One Clipper, the California Clipper, was stranded in New Zealand when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. With the Pacific a war zone, its crew was given one audacious order: fly the long way home. Navigating war zones with no reliable maps, refueling at remote island outposts, the crew embarked on a 31,500-mile odyssey, finally reaching New York to become the first commercial plane to circumnavigate the globe. Meanwhile, the skies of the Second World War were defined by Boeing's Steel Angels of Death. The B-17 Flying Fortress, bristling with up to 13 machine guns, became the enduring symbol of American air power. These rugged bombers could absorb devastating punishment and still bring their crews home. One veteran, in a letter to the factory, wrote simply, "I'm glad to be alive. Thank you for making such a good airplane." But it was the B-29 Superfortress that delivered the war's final, terrible blow. This technological marvel, with its pressurized cabins and revolutionary remote-controlled gun turrets, was the most advanced bomber of its age. It was a B-29, the Enola Gay, that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. The development cost of the B-29 program alone exceeded that of the entire Manhattan Project, a staggering investment that ultimately ended history's deadliest conflict. The peace that followed brought a new crisis. Military orders collapsed, and over 70,000 Boeing workers lost their jobs. The company's answer was the luxurious double-decker 377 Stratocruiser, but it was a complicated and troubled aircraft, plagued by engine issues. Boeing was bleeding money and desperately needed a miracle. They found it by betting the entire company on the future, the jet engine. The Boeing 367-80, or -80, was that multi-million-dollar gamble. A sleek prototype built with two-thirds of the company's entire post-war profits. During a public demonstration flight over Lake Washington, legendary test pilot Tex Johnston didn't just fly it, he executed a breathtaking full barrel roll in the massive jet not once, but twice without telling his horrified bosses. It was the most daring, unauthorized sales pitch in the history of aviation. That incredible gamble gave the world the Boeing 707, the aircraft that truly launched the commercial jet age. It wasn't the first jetliner, but it was the one that made global travel mainstream, slashing transatlantic flight times in half and connecting continents like never before. This success was followed by the nimble Trijet 727, designed for shorter runways, and then the incredibly versatile 737, a plane so perfectly conceived it would, against all odds, become the best-selling jetliner of all time. But the 737's legacy would, in time, become a complex and heartbreaking tale of both triumph and tragedy. The colossal 747 Queen of the Skies was born from an even bigger, more terrifying risk. Boeing had to construct the largest building in the world by volume just to manufacture it, a project that nearly bankrupted the company. The iconic jumbo jet, with its unmistakable hump created by a raised cockpit for nose-loading cargo, democratized international air travel, carrying millions across the globe. It became the symbol of a connected world and even served as the presidential Air Force One. It successfully fought off the challenge of the supersonic Concorde and the massive Airbus A380 to become a cultural icon for over half a century. Yet its story is also shadowed by profound loss, including the Tenerife runway collision in 1977 that remains the deadliest accident in aviation history, a stark reminder of the high stakes of its ambition. The new millennium saw Boeing solidify its wide-body dominance with the long-range, technologically advanced 777, the first jetliner designed entirely on computers. This was followed by the revolutionary 787 Dreamliner, built largely from lightweight carbon composite materials. It was a fuel-efficient marvel that opened new ultra-long-haul routes. However, the company's deep reliance on its legendary 737 would lead to its greatest modern crisis. The 737 MAX, an updated version of the classic airframe, was involved in two catastrophic crashes that claimed 346 lives. The cause was linked to a new software system called MCAS, which pilots were not adequately informed about. The plane was grounded worldwide for nearly 2 years, and a whistleblower's dire warnings about rushed production and compromised safety ignited a firestorm of controversy, exposing deep and disturbing flaws in the company's corporate culture. Today, Boeing stands at a crossroads, developing the new, highly advanced 777X with its revolutionary folding wingtips, while simultaneously working to restore its bruised reputation and reclaim its engineering soul. From a wooden and wire seaplane to the edge of space, its story is a century-long tapestry of breathtaking innovation, audacious risk, and profound consequence. It is a powerful testament to the human drive to reach ever higher, and a permanent, sobering reminder that with great ambition comes even greater responsibility. This journey through a century of aviation history is far from over. The skies of the future are still being written. If you've enjoyed this flight through the decades, please show your support by giving this video a like and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more deep dives into the stories of the machines and giants that shaped our world.